Good evening, everybody. We are here for this amazing occurrence. To come together to be part of the dream and not to be turned around. So the scripture has already been read and my title is We Are the Dream. We are the dream. So the process is to begin to look at what is a dream. A dream is just simply the ability to slumber and imagine something from our unconscious to our conscious. And then they say when you begin to dream negativity, it begins to lower your ability for mental health. It begins to change how you begin to see yourself. But because we're here to honor the MLK, that means collectively when we dream, we're dreaming of justice. We're dreaming of equity. We're dreaming of a world that is imbibed with love. So then that means collectively our collective self-esteem, our community confidence begins to rise to a new level because we are the dream. We are the dream. We are those who dare to, in the midst of hardships, find home and peace. Rev, what do you mean? There are systems that have been created that we then have the ability to use them to slumber, to dream of what equity will look like. What does that mean? When mass incarceration begins to dominate the narrative, can you be willing to dream? To dream of justice, to dream of a new way that we've never seen before, and not just you alone dreaming or me alone dreaming, but us as a collective community dreaming the one thing, a world of equity, a world of love, because we are the dream. The dream was simply from MLK that there will be a world in which we would not be judged on the complexion of our skin. And if we modernize that for this current era, we would not be judged for our gender expression. We would not be judged for the way in which we find the capacity to love because we are the dream. We get to come into this new dynamic of social justice, coming together because sometimes it starts in our mind. Can you imagine a world that we don't have to deal with this type of foolishness and buffoonery and shenanigans any longer? Can you imagine a world where love is still the answer? Can you imagine a world that you are no longer judged because you dare to be non-binary? Could you imagine a world or dream of a world that allows you to love in the way in which you love, that you can be authentically in any place you go? Could you imagine? We are the dream. We are the dream. That means collectively, even the one watching virtually, in the moment that you begin to dream of equity, you begin to dream of justice, not just for yourself, but for all of us, then you are part of this community that affirms we are the dream. That means no longer are we consumed with the doubts and the hardships. No longer are we pitting ourselves against somebody else and saying us and them. No, we are the dream does not allow us to then say your struggle is your struggle, my struggle is my struggle. But we are the dream brings us together to then see how we collectively can make this happen. Because as my prelate says, we are about completing the work of love in this world. So by doing it, we must be the dream. That means we must be able to realize that there are some folks that are not able to have the ability to dream. Because they are consumed by the fact they're told they don't belong. They are consumed by the fact that they are told they are less than. And you deserve the treatment in which you get. But when we own that we are the dream, we then pour into others the ability to know that I see you and you belong. When we own the fact that we are the dream, we bring ourselves into a place that we shake up the narrative. We begin to shake up the cities because why? We dare to turn up some tables because we are the dream. We are the dream. We're bringing our consciousness to a higher level because we're dreaming of this new world that we have not seen. But the awesome part is, just like God's body has many parts, the dream has many parts that we collectively, as a community, make that become a reality. Rev, how do you do that? Find your passion in the journey. Some of us are passionate writers. Find your passion in your writing to bring about an equitable society. Some of us have a passion for being out on the front lines and protesting and handcuffing ourselves to structures to let them know that I see you and I stand in the gap. If that's your passion, then you are the dream. If your passion is you are a social media connoisseur and you understand how to make a proper hashtag to allow everybody to come into awareness, you are the dream. You are the dream. That means every skill set that you have, if you're a preacher, preach. If you're a singer, sing. If you're a dancer, dance. And know that every form of artistic expression allows for someone to be free. Because they're free through the movement of dance. So if you are hearing impaired and you see movement, the movement allows you to find your freedom to know that you are the dream. For the folks who may be visually impaired and you may hear a song, the song may inspire you to know that you have just as much rights as anyone else and you belong here because you are the dream. If you need it from this platform called preaching and delivery and storytelling, then you listen and become encouraged by the seeds that all of my colleagues and my peers will drop, because then you are empowered to know that you are the dream. There's no more less than. There's no more disheveled. There's no more anything, because when we dream of equity, we then elevate ourselves and others to see that they are more than their circumstances. We are the dream. When we begin to come into these intimate circles and we begin to do networking, that means this is just not a one-time event, just one time of the year, just this at this season. It becomes we are the dream. We stay connected in networking to let folks know that we dream of a great society. We dream of a place where homelessness or housing insecurity is not criminalized. We dream of a place that because you may be HIV positive and they want to criminalize you, you will not be that. Because why? I dare to stand in the gap and write an email. I dare to stand in the gap and protest. I dare to stand in the gap and use this platform to let you know that we are the dream. We are the dream. The systems that have been constructed, we get to reimagine it.
That's right.
Yeah, what does that mean? So that means we get to lobby. We get to use our civic engagement to vote to proper folks in. That means don't just go to the polls and just click, 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 click. Because then you are technically woke. And I'm going to define that. So this system of woke means you have arrived at a place that you are socially aware. But to dream, one must be asleep.
Okay. Come on, that's good.
One must be asleep. So the power of the true wokeness is you've dreamed of this new society and then you arise. So now in this process of doing this, you begin to now find your ability and your purpose to change the dynamic. You begin to shift the paradigm of inequity to equity. Racism to love.
Right now.
Transphobia to love. Oh my God, to homophobia to love. Sex worker to love. Human rights violations to love. Because the essence of the dream when we slumber is love. Because that's all MLK was about. Aside from the fact of carrying a gun until someone told him there was another way to do it. But we get to dream collectively. To draw all of our skills into the place. All of our skills into the society to make it more equitable and more loving. Because there's a song from before my era that says what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. So because we know that, I dare you now to dream of a more loving society. I dare you to dream of a place where folks will not be pushed out because the rents have risen so high. I dare you to dream of a place where education is across the board the same, and because you live in a zip code, somehow your education is better than mine. I dare you to dream of a society where it does not matter your gender expression, you are paid by the merit of your skill set. I dare you to dream of a place where our authentic trans siblings can walk through and we honor them for the fullness of what they are, as they are truly manifesting a dream. A dream of authenticity in a world that then says other. I dare you to chime in to be the dream. I dare you to affirm that I am the dream. And when you affirm that you are the dream, you're affirming that you are willing to network. When you say and affirm that I am the dream, you are willing to step out your comfort zone to connect with others to build this thing. When you affirm that I am the dream, that means it's not just about me and my issues. You relinquish some of that to then stand in the gap for somebody else whose voice has been silent and they may not have a mic. When we affirm that we are the dream, stuff begins to change. When we affirm we have the dream, every time the elections come up is a midterm because we get to turn things around because ain't nobody gonna turn me around. Because we are the dream and we've come together to change it. That means when laws are being passed, we are more civilly engaged and informed. That means you may want to follow some other politicians on Twitter. Or you find somebody else following them, then you get them to share the information. You see, remember that purpose? You may be a writer, you may be a dancer, you may be a preacher, So you find someone connected so they share it with you because when you say that you are the dream, you are willing to share information to empower others to make newer choices. Because you don't want to see anyone not informed. You want to see anyone that is somehow outside by others deemed that love doesn't include them. Being the dream means we include everybody in this process. Everybody. When we say that we are the dream, we are willing to not let this just be a one-time event. This becomes a reoccurring series. You know, like the Game of Thrones, they have multiple series. And it deepened the character development of the characters. Us being characters today, we get to deepen that over a period of time and let it not just be today. We get to do this work because all of us have purpose. All of us have a skill. All of us have a part in the dream becoming a reality. So I invite you into the journey of owning that you are the dream. I dare you to be okay with being asleep and then rising, not woke but rising. I dare you to not let folks dictate that wokeness is the way of equity. I dare you to allow yourself to be like, it's time for me to take a nap. And in that nap, you get to dream of a new society. Because you may see something on the news that may trouble you. I dare you to take a nap. Because we are the dream. Thank you.